One picture, 1,000 regrets. Samantha loved life with a carefree spirit that often bordered on impulsiveness. Her playful nature was both a charm and a flaw, something her husband, Daniel, had always found endearing, yet frustrating at times. They had been married for 3 years, building a life filled with laughter, small arguments, and shared dreams. Daniel, a man of quiet strength and unwavering loyalty, balanced Samantha's spontaneity with his sense of responsibility and calm demeanor. But even the strongest bonds can fracture with a single thoughtless mistake. The fatal joke. It all started on an otherwise ordinary Saturday evening. Daniel had gone out for his usual night with the guys, a monthly tradition with his closest friends, including his best friend, Chris. Chris was charming, witty, and the life of the party. However, Samantha had always found him a bit smug. That night, boredom set in for Samantha. She had scrolled through endless TikTok videos, binged half a series, and still felt restless. A glass of wine sat on the coffee table, half empty, as she glanced at her phone. Scrolling through her photos, she stumbled upon a cheeky picture she had taken earlier in the day, an alluring selfie in a new outfit that bordered on risque. She had sent it to Daniel earlier, teasing him about what awaited him at home. Now, with a mischievous smirk, an idea popped into her head. She opened her messaging app, selected Chris's contact, and typed, "Bet you've never seen me like this before. Ha ha, don't tell Daniel." With a reckless tap, the photo was sent. Samantha leaned back, amused at her own audacity. She convinced herself it was harmless. Chris would laugh, maybe roll his eyes, and that would be the end of it. But the end was far from near. The beginning of the fallout. The next morning, Samantha woke up to a series of missed calls and unread messages from Daniel. Confused and groggy, she rubbed her eyes and opened her phone. The messages were curt and ominous. "We need to talk." "What the hell, Sam?" "Come home." Now panic set in. Her stomach churned as she threw on clothes and rushed home. She barely had time to process her thoughts before she walked through the door, finding Daniel sitting in the living room with Chris by his side. "Do you want to explain this?" Daniel asked, tossing his phone onto the coffee table. Her heart sank as she saw the message she had sent Chris, displayed in bold clarity. The photo was there too, staring back at her like a damning piece of evidence. "It was a joke," Samantha stammered, her voice shaking. "Daniel, it didn't mean anything." "A joke?" Daniel's voice was cold, his jaw tight. "You think sending that to my best friend is funny?" Chris sat back, feigning discomfort. "Look, man, I didn't know what to do. I thought you deserved to know." Samantha turned to Chris, her eyes wide with disbelief. "You're seriously trying to make this worse?" "I'm not the one who sent the photo," Chris shot back, his tone laced with mock concern. Daniel stood up abruptly, pacing the room. "Do you have any idea how humiliated I feel right now? How can I trust you after this?" "It was stupid, I know," Samantha said, tears streaming down her face. "But it wasn't meant to hurt you. I wasn't thinking." "Well, you've done a great job of destroying what we had," Daniel said, his voice breaking. Isolation and betrayal. Daniel left the house that day, moving into a friend's place temporarily. He refused to answer Samantha's calls or texts, leaving her to stew in her guilt and regret. Meanwhile, Chris wasted no time spreading the story. Within days, Samantha found herself at the center of a scandal among their friend group. Chris had twisted the narrative, painting himself as the victim of Samantha's supposed flirtations. "She's been coming on to me for months," Chris told their mutual friends. "I always thought it was harmless until she crossed the line." Samantha was devastated. Her friends began distancing themselves, unsure of what to believe. Even her closest confidants seemed wary, their trust in her shaken. Daniel seeks the truth. Weeks turned into months. Daniel, though hurt, couldn't shake the nagging feeling that something about Chris's version of events didn't add up. Chris's eagerness to play the victim, his sudden shift in behavior, it all felt off. Determined to get to the bottom of things, Daniel reached out to an old mutual friend of his and Chris's, Lisa, Chris's ex-girlfriend. Lisa had dated Chris for years before their messy breakup, and she was all too familiar with his manipulative tendencies. "You're just now realizing Chris is a snake?" Lisa said when Daniel explained the situation. He always knows how to twist things to his advantage. Lisa's words confirmed Daniel's suspicions. He began digging deeper, recalling small incidents where Chris had crossed boundaries or made subtle jabs at his relationship with Samantha. The confrontation one evening, Daniel confronted Chris directly. "I know what you've been doing," Daniel said, his voice calm but firm. "You took a stupid mistake and used it to destroy my marriage." Chris's smirk faltered. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Save it," Daniel snapped. "Lisa told me everything, and honestly, I'm disgusted I ever called you my friend." Chris tried to backtrack, but the damage was done. His lies unraveled, leaving him exposed. Rebuilding and moving forward. Daniel returned to Samantha, apologetic but cautious. "I was wrong to shut you out without giving you a chance to explain," he admitted. "But you need to understand how much this hurt me." "I do," Samantha said, her voice trembling. "I've spent months regretting what I did. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done, and I hate that it hurt you." Rebuilding their relationship wasn't easy. It required honest conversations, therapy, and a commitment to rebuild the trust they had lost. As for Chris, his betrayal left him isolated. His reputation in their friend group was tarnished, and his lies ensured no one wanted him around. Samantha and Daniel moved forward, their love battle-tested but intact. They knew the road ahead would be long, but they were willing to walk it together. Epilogue. Years later, Samantha often reflected on that fateful night. The experience had taught her the importance of thinking before acting, of valuing trust over fleeting amusement. As she and Daniel celebrated their anniversary with renewed vows, she realized something profound. Their love had survived its ultimate trial, proving that even in the face of betrayal, forgiveness and growth were possible. A playful joke turned into a devastating mistake when Samantha sent a daring photo to her husband's best friend. What she thought was harmless fun spiraled into betrayal, heartbreak, and shattered trust. As lies and manipulations came to light, Samantha and Daniel faced the ultimate test of their love. Can a relationship survive when trust is broken, or will one reckless moment end everything they've built together?